The coronation had ended, and she finally wore the crown as queen. Yet peace did not follow the throne. The king continued to ask about his missing son, and every question drew him closer to a truth that had been carefully buried. She knew that if the truth ever reached him, everything they had built would collapse. So the order was clear: the truth must never surface. Not now, not ever. But she was warned that a man could be silenced, yet fate could not. That the real danger was not the throne itself, but what had been hidden beneath it: the prince, the spirit of a lost sister, and the secrets they had all agreed to bury. Still, plans continued. A stranger was being brought into the palace under a false identity, introduced as a returning brother from overseas. Step by step, trust was being built inside the kingdom, carefully, strategically, with patience disguised as peace. But beneath it all, fear lingered. If the king continued asking questions, suspicion would grow. One mistake could bring everything down. And so the instruction remained the same: stay in character, remain close, and let time do the work. Yet even alliances carried tension. Trust was fragile. Every promise carried weight. Every silence carried meaning. Elsewhere, a boy struggled with something far simpler, yet far more dangerous in its own way. A mysterious book had come into his life, one that could turn drawings into reality. But he had been warned. Nothing it created could ever be undone, and every gift it gave demanded a price. Still, his heart was not on power or kingdoms. It was on something far more human. He wished for his grandmother to see again, to open her eyes and witness the world she had lost. That single wish burned brighter than everything else. And though he was told the cost might be heavy, he had already made up his mind. Whatever the price, he would pay it. Never use it when you're angry, and remember, every gift the book gives always demands a price. A quiet warning lingered in the air. And then came the question. You wish for your grandmother to see again. Are you ready to pay the price when the time comes? What price? I don't understand. But if Grandma can see again, I promise I'll pay it. Then draw 2 eyes in the book, one on this page and one on the other. The price will reveal itself later. Okay. Grandma! I can do this. And then it happened. I can see my child. Oh, look at you. You've grown into such a beautiful young woman. Grandma, I've waited so long for this day. I prayed every day that your eyes would open again. Young man, today you have freed me after so many years in darkness. I can see again. I don't know how to thank you. You owe me nothing, Grandma. You are a kind woman. You deserve this blessing. Then tell me, who are you really? Since you entered this house, you've never told us your name or where you come from. There is sadness in your eyes. Grandma, my mission here is complete. Now I must leave and face a battle that has been waiting for me for many years. What battle? You have been good to us since the day you arrived. Whatever this is, we will stand beside you. No, Grandma. This is not your fight. It is my burden to carry my destiny to face alone. Riggy! I'm sorry. This is the price that had to be paid. I must return home now and protect my father. One day I will come back. Take care of yourself. Take care of the puppy and the magic book. And remember, never draw from the book when your heart is filled with anger. Stranger. Stranger, where are you? Why did you leave without saying goodbye? I searched everywhere, but you're gone. Bragi? I am sorry. I never wanted to leave without saying goodbye. The gift you gave your grandmother came with a price. This was the price I had to pay. I could not tell you before, because if I revealed everything, I would have lost my life. But one day when the time is right, I will return. Be strong for me. No. Stranger, this can't be true. Look at me. I'm cooking again with my own eyes. Thank God. Thank you. And thank that young stranger for bringing light back into my life. Grandma, he's gone. I looked everywhere. He's nowhere to be found. Do not worry, my child. The gods are wise. If it is meant to be, he will find his way back to us. My child. I hope it's not what I'm thinking. Grandma, it's nothing. Maybe it's just a fever or something I ate. Please, let's finish cooking. Who are you, and how did you get inside the palace grounds? I am your secret. I know what happened to your sister, what you did to the prince, and what you are planning against the king. I know everything. Please. What do you want? Gold? Power? Anything, just don't reveal my secrets. I want no gold. Let me stay in this palace and watch everything with my own eyes. Fine. I'll convince the king to keep you here. But if you're staying in this palace, you'll work with me. And you'll keep my secrets buried. My king. This man possesses rare gifts. He believes he can help us find the missing prince. Is this true, stranger? After all these years, can you really help me find my son? I cannot make promises, Your Majesty, but I asked for a chance to search for the truth. Then you are welcome in this palace. Any man willing to help bring my son home is a friend of mine. And if we gain support from these regions... Rugi, you really drew a house and it came to life. The gods have truly blessed you. I don't want us or my child to suffer again. The stranger left us this gift. Let us live in peace now. Do not worry, my child. The gods are wise and good. Hearts are never forgotten. Thank you, Grandma. One day that young man will find his way back to us. Grandma, look at my tummy. It's glowing blue. What is happening to my baby? By the gods. This is no ordinary child. The magic has passed into the baby. My child now carries the same power as the magical book. I never thought I would see my childhood room again. Everything is still here. The king is coming. He must not know who I am not yet. This was my son's room. Every corner, every memory still breathing inside these walls. I only pray he is alive and finds his way home. Do not lose hope, my king. Your son is closer than you think. And one day he will stand before you again. Strange. When you speak, I feel a peace I cannot explain. It reminds me of someone I once loved deeply. Then trust that feeling, my king. And be careful of the queen and her brother. They are not who they appear to be. As long as I remain in this palace, no harm will come to your son. Abu. We've tried everything. The king should have fallen by now, yet he still survives. I am tired of waiting. Forget the king for a moment. That masked man worries me more. Every time I see him, something feels wrong. I don't trust him. Then we watch him closely. Every move, every word. If he is hiding something, we will uncover it before he becomes a problem. Good. Because until that king is gone, neither the throne nor our future belongs to us. Then let's finish this quickly, Abu. I want the crown, the kingdom, and a life where we never have to hide again. So my mother was right. These two were never family. They were lovers all along. Keep plotting against me if you wish. When this game ends, you will be the first to fall. Since you arrived, you promised to help me find my son. Tell me, is there truly hope? Your Highness, do not fear. Your son lives. He is safe. And sooner than anyone expects, he will return home. May the gods make it so. I long to see my prince again. I have missed him every single day. Keep pretending, Queen. The game begins now. Stranger, where did you get this necklace? I know this jewel. It belonged to the late Queen. A woman gave it to me many years ago. She said she was betrayed and murdered by those she trusted most. Murdered my sister? Who would do such a terrible thing? Did she tell you who was responsible? No! She only asked me to keep this necklace safe, until the truth found its way home. Young man, ever since you arrived, something has troubled my heart. The woman who gave you that necklace was my late queen. Yet, whenever I look at you, I feel a bond I cannot explain. Tell me the truth. Who are you? Why do your words sound so familiar to me? The king's heart could no longer ignore the feeling that had haunted him since the masked stranger arrived. At last, he demanded the truth. Who are you? Why do your words sound so familiar to me? El Xinghao Xinghao. For a moment, time itself seemed to stand still. Then the stranger spoke the words that would change everything. Father, it is me, your son, Xinghao Xinghao. The king's breath caught in his chest. His son? After all these years? It seemed impossible. But before he could cry out in joy, the prince begged him to stay silent. The palace was filled with enemies, and they must not know he had returned. Deep inside, the king realized his heart had recognized his child long before his eyes ever could. Far away from the palace, another miracle had arrived. Ruggie held her newborn son with tears of joy as her grandmother smiled beside her. The little prince was beautiful, healthy, and filled their humble home with hope. They thanked God for the blessing that had entered their lives. Then the grandmother asked the question that had remained unanswered. Who was the father? Ruggie could only smile sadly. She never truly knew the mysterious stranger. His face had always remained hidden, even as he slept beside the fire. She could only pray that one day fate would guide him back to them. Then her thoughts returned to the magical book. The stranger had once warned that whatever was drawn inside it could become real, but every miracle demanded a terrible price. Even so, Ruggie wondered if drawing something might help her find him again. Inside the palace, suspicion continued to grow. The king confronted the masked stranger once more, demanding to know his true identity and purpose. But the mysterious visitor answered only with riddles, saying that some people are sent by kings, some by fate, and others arrive when buried secrets are ready to rise from the grave. Those words sent fear racing through the queen's heart. The necklace on the royal table should never have existed. It belonged to her late sister, whose secrets she believed had been buried forever. Panic took hold. She rushed to the palace priestess, desperate for answers. The old woman handed her a powerful charm, warning that it could reveal hidden enemies and forgotten truths, but only once. If used again, forces beyond human control would awaken. Ignoring the danger, the queen activated the charm and demanded to know the truth. The vision appeared before her eyes. Atafal, a mysterious bottle, a young prince. Then came the horrifying revelation. The masked stranger was the very prince she believed had died years ago. The bottle she buried beneath the rocks had not claimed his life after all. While she celebrated her victory, fate had quietly written a different ending. The prince had returned. Not to seek revenge, but to wait patiently until the truth revealed itself. The queen realized she had been living beside her greatest enemy all along. Yet an even greater mystery was unfolding elsewhere. Ruggie's little child laughed as strange things happened around him. Without speaking a single command, people moved as though they were dancing to his invisible will. The grandmother watched in shock. She understood immediately that this was no ordinary child. The magic of the mysterious book had passed into him. And as she stared at the little boy, one terrifying thought crossed her mind. This child possessed a power greater than both his mother and his father. The story had only just begun. She was betrayed. Deep down, I had always known it. A kingdom had been stolen through poison, deception, and carefully crafted lies, while everyone believed the story they were told. But now, everything had changed. At last, there was proof. Not rumors. Not suspicions. Proof. The game was over. And the truth was finally coming for the queen. Before the royal court, a shocking revelation was presented to the king. A hidden document had been discovered among records that were never meant to be seen again. It was written by a palace maid shortly before her death, and her final words were not gossip or imagination. They were the testimony of someone who had witnessed everything with her own eyes. She claimed that on the night the first queen fell ill, the woman who now sat upon the throne secretly poisoned her own sister. The maid planned to reveal the truth to the kingdom. But before she could speak, she was murdered and silenced forever. And that was only the beginning. The confession revealed that when the young prince began to suspect the truth about his mother's death, the queen feared that one day he would expose her crimes. So she trapped the child inside an enchanted bottle and cast him beneath the waterfall, believing he would never return alive. The palace fell into silence. The queen desperately denied the accusations, calling the document a forgery. But the king looked into her eyes and demanded an answer. Had he been living beside a stranger all these years? Then another secret emerged. The man known as Abu, introduced to the kingdom as her brother, was never family at all. He had been her secret lover from the very beginning. Together they had deceived the king. Together they had plotted for power. The first queen stood in their way. The young prince stood in their way. And eventually, even the king himself would have become an obstacle to their ambition. One by one, every barrier was removed. Standing before the throne and before the people, the queen could no longer hide. At last, she confessed. She admitted poisoning her own sister. She admitted destroying the royal family. She admitted that jealousy had poisoned her heart long before poison ever touched the queen's cup. She confessed that she had spent her entire life living in her sister's shadow, watching everyone love her while she remained unseen. The crown chose her sister. The kingdom chose her sister. Even the king chose her sister. Consumed by envy, she allowed bitterness to grow until it became hatred. And hatred became murder. She wanted the throne. She wanted the power. She wanted the life that belonged to someone else. One crime led to another until she found herself trapped inside the darkness she had created. The king stood in silence, his heart shattered. She had not only stolen a throne, she had destroyed a family. She had taken a mother from her son, a wife from her husband, and peace from an entire kingdom. With tears in her eyes, the queen admitted she had no lies left to tell. The truth had finally caught up with her. The king ordered the guards to arrest both the queen and Abu, declaring that no crown could ever stand above justice. As soldiers stepped forward and the palace prepared for judgment, one final voice echoed through the royal hall. A voice no one expected to hear. The mysterious stranger stepped forward and removed every remaining doubt. He revealed himself before the king and the entire kingdom. He was alive. He was the lost prince. The child everyone believed had died long ago. He told the court how the queen had trapped him inside an enchanted bottle and cast him beneath the waterfall, believing the rushing waters would become his grave forever. But fate had written another ending. The prince had survived. And after years of silence, the truth had finally returned home. Before leaving, the little boy handed his mother a single flower. He smiled gently and whispered, "Mama, keep this flower. When the prince arrives, give it to him. He will understand why I made it." No one understood what he meant, but destiny was already moving. Standing before the royal court, the lost prince revealed the truth that had been hidden for years. The queen had trapped him inside an enchanted bottle and cast him beneath the waterfall, believing the rushing waters would become his grave forever. His mother's spirit could not free him from the curse, but she never abandoned him. She gave him strength. She protected his life until help finally arrived. A brave young woman and her grandmother found the mysterious bottle, rescued the helpless child, and gave him a second chance at life. Everything he had become was because two strangers refused to walk away. To uncover the truth, the prince returned to the palace in disguise. He walked among the very people who had betrayed his family while hiding his true identity behind a mask. Even the queen trusted him with her darkest secrets, believing he was nothing more than an ordinary stranger. Patiently, he gathered every piece of evidence until the lies could no longer survive. The king could no longer hold back his emotions. His lost son was alive. After years of grief and endless searching, fate had finally brought him home. But the queen's face turned pale with terror. She could not believe what stood before her. She had buried the prince beneath the waterfall herself. She had made certain no one would ever find him. He was supposed to disappear forever. He was never meant to return. The entire kingdom stood frozen as the weight of her crimes became undeniable. A sister had betrayed her own blood. A mother had been stolen from her child. A kingdom had merely been destroyed by greed and jealousy. Justice could no longer wait. The guards stepped forward and carried the queen and Abu away to answer for every crime they had committed. And on that day, truth defeated darkness. Peace finally returned to the kingdom. But for the prince, one final journey remained. He turned to his father and spoke from his heart. There were two people he needed to see again: Ruggie and her grandmother. Not a single day had passed without remembering the women who sheltered him when he had nothing. They protected the kingdom's greatest treasure without ever knowing who he truly was. They welcomed a stranger and loved him like family. The king smiled through his tears. Such kindness deserved more than gratitude. It deserved honor, respect, and the thanks of an entire kingdom. Together they would return. No disguises. No masks. No secrets. Only truth. The prince could hardly contain his excitement. He missed Ruggie and her grandmother more than words could express. They had given him a home when the world believed he was gone forever. Soon they would know that the stranger they saved had been their prince all along. Meanwhile, far from the palace, another mystery was unfolding. Ruggie suddenly noticed the magical book moving by itself. No one was touching it. There was no wind. No spell had been cast. Yet the pages trembled as though something deep inside had awakened. Her grandmother stared in silence. The pages were completely blank. Yet they glowed with an ancient light, unlike anything they had ever seen before. It was as if the book itself had been sleeping for years and was finally opening its eyes. Then the old woman looked toward the little child. She remembered everything he had done since the day he was born. He spoke with impossible wisdom. He commanded strange powers without effort. Nothing about him was ordinary. The little boy looked at the glowing book with innocent wonder and smiled. "Pretty book, shiny book. Why are you calling me?" A chill filled the room. The grandmother turned slowly toward Ruggie and whispered, "Look at him carefully. Your son is no ordinary child." And in that moment, they realized that the greatest magic the book had ever created was not a house, a blessing, or a miracle. It was the child standing before them. The little boy gently placed a flower into his mother's hands and smiled. "Mama, keep this flower. When the prince arrives, give it to him. He will understand why I made it." The words left everyone speechless. He was only a few months old, yet there was something impossible about him. His mind seemed to grow faster than time itself. Sometimes he spoke like an ordinary child, and other times his voice carried a wisdom far beyond his years. His grandmother watched him carefully and began to understand. The magical book was awakening once again. But this time, it was not responding to the book's former guardian. It was responding to the child. The little boy pointed excitedly toward the glowing pages. He said the book was speaking to him. It wanted to show him something. His mother could only stare in disbelief. How could a baby understand the language of an ancient book? Who was this child? And what was he becoming? Then, without hesitation, the little boy looked toward the road and smiled. He announced that a king and a prince were coming to their house. No one had seen anyone approaching. Yet he spoke with complete certainty. His grandmother knew this was no ordinary vision. The book itself was answering the child. Something important was about to happen. Then another miracle unfolded. The little boy began writing inside the magical book with tiny hands that should not yet have known how to write. A beautiful flower slowly appeared upon the page. As the drawing was completed, it became real before their eyes. The child held it proudly and whispered, "The flower is awake now. It wants to meet you, Mama." Then he repeated the strange instruction once more. "Keep this flower. When the prince arrives, give it to him." His mother asked how he knew a prince was truly coming. The grandmother answered softly, "The child could already see tomorrow." The book had shown him what was still hidden from everyone else. And tomorrow was already walking toward their home. Moments later, the impossible became reality. A royal procession appeared in the distance. The king himself stood beside the crown prince as they approached the humble house. The grandmother could barely believe her eyes. Everything the child had seen inside the magical book was happening exactly as he had foretold. The prince stepped forward and smiled warmly. At last he had returned. He revealed that he had hidden his true identity because his life had been in danger, and he never wanted to place Ruggie or her grandmother in danger as well. The king thanked them with tears in his eyes. For years, the kingdom believed the prince was dead. They mourned him. They searched for him, never knowing he had been safe under the care of two ordinary women with extraordinary hearts. The grandmother smiled quietly. She had always believed that God's timing was perfect. Then the prince heard something that stopped his heart. The king mentioned that Ruggie had a son. Confused, the prince followed her into the house. The little boy looked up with innocent joy and stretched out his tiny arms. Then he spoke a single word. "Papa!" The room fell silent. The prince stood frozen. He could not believe what he had just heard. Ruggie gently revealed the truth. When he disappeared years ago, she had been carrying his child. The prince looked at the boy in amazement. But another mystery remained. How could such a young child speak so clearly? How could he know things no one had told him? The grandmother explained that the magical book listened to the child, and the child listened to the book. The ancient magic obeyed him as though it had always known him. He could see events before they happened. He somehow always knew the truth. The king smiled as he held his grandson for the first time. Now he understood why the magic had protected that humble house all along. It had never been protecting the book. It had been protecting the child. The little boy laughed happily. He reminded everyone that he had already told his mother and grandmother that his father would return. The king welcomed Ruggie and her family into the palace, declaring that from that day forward, they were no longer guests but family. When Ruggie humbly said they had only helped the stranger because he needed help, not because he was a prince, the king smiled with gratitude. He reminded everyone that a good heart is worth more than any crown. The river flows where God directs it. The seed grows when its season arrives. And every destiny eventually finds its way home. The prince thanked Ruggie for protecting him when the world had turned against him. He thanked her for giving him the greatest gift of all, their son. Ruggie smiled through her tears and admitted that a part of her heart had waited for him every single day. Together they looked toward the magical book. It had guided them through every trial. It had protected them. It had reunited a broken family. Then, as a gentle light filled the room, the ancient book revealed its final message. Its power had never belonged to itself. It had been created by ancient guardians of light to protect lost destinies and guide them home. Its purpose had never been to create kings. Yet its purpose had always been to reunite a family. As the final glow faded, everyone believed the magic was gone forever. But somewhere nearby, the little boy smiled. Because the magic had never disappeared. It had simply found a new home.